Welcome to The Explainer. If you've ever looked at a perfectly tailored suit or a stunning, flowing gown and wondered, how on earth did they mold a completely flat piece of cloth to fit the complex, curving human body? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're jumping right into the precise magic of pattern making. We'll see exactly how designers transform a basic 2D paper sketch into a beautifully fitted 3D garment. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover draping versus flat patterns, essential drafting tools, the difference between working and production patterns, dart manipulation, fullness and contouring, and finally, modernizing with CAD systems. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, Draping versus Flat Patterns.
To really grasp how patterns are made today, we have to look at the two radically different ways designers have historically shaped fabric. On one side, we have 3D draping. This is an ancient, highly sculptural method going all the way back to 3500 BCE. You literally shape the fabric directly on a dress stand, folding, twisting, and pinning it by hand. It's incredibly creative. But on the other side, we have the 2D flat pattern cutting method. This relies on standard measurement blocks drafted on hard paper. It's fast, it's precise, it's highly mathematical, and it truly serves as the bedrock for scalable garment production.
Moving on to our second stop, essential pattern drafting tools.
As a beginner student, you simply can't draft a pattern without some very specific equipment. We're talking clear plastic grid rulers, a tailor's L-square, French curves, a notcher, straight pins, scissors, weights, and of course your measuring tape. Every single item on this list serves a distinct, vital purpose to ensure total accuracy during the manual drafting process. And you have to be accurate because a millimeter off on paper can literally mean an inch off on the final garment.
Let's zoom in on one of the absolute essentials, the tailor's L-square. The crucial thing about the L-square is its geometry. Its two metal arms form a perfect 90-degree angle, which allows you to measure, rule, and square your lines all at the exact same time. Whenever you need to establish center front lines, center back lines, or ensure a hem is perfectly perpendicular, the L-square is going to be your absolute best friend. It brings that necessary mathematical rigidity to your draft.
But here's the thing. The human body isn't made of straight lines and sharp corners, is it? So contrast that straight edge with the French curve. This tool is absolutely essential for mapping the organic curving shapes of the body. Think armholes, necklines, hip curves. You use the French curve to get those onto your frat blueprint. It beautifully bridges the gap between rigid math and actual human anatomy.
Okay, Section 3, Working versus Production Patterns.
Once you're actually drafting, there is a stark operational difference between these two stages. Working patterns, which you'll sometimes hear called slopers, are essentially your rough drafts. They're made to the exact net dimension of the style, absolutely no seam allowances added, and they're used purely for making sample garments and testing the fit. Production patterns, on the other hand, those are the final, error-free blueprints. They have all the seam allowances added and contain every single piece needed to successfully manufacture the final garment.
Next up, we hit the core principles. Starting with Section 4, Principle 1, Dart Manipulation.
So, a dart is strictly responsible for fit, and it will always be a part of a fitted design in some form or another. Why? Well, a flat piece of fabric just cannot wrap smoothly around the curves of a bust or the hollows of a waist without buckling. The dart fundamentally improves garment fit by taking up that excess 2D fabric exactly where it isn't needed, which allows the garment to securely hug the 3D form.
Let's actually break down the anatomy of a dart. You see the space confined between those two angled lines? Those are the dart legs, and the space between them is called the dart intake. That is the literal excess fabric being removed. Those legs converge at a specific spot, called the dart point, and that point always aims directly toward a pivotal place on the body, most commonly the bust point. Now, as a designer, you aren't always going to want a dart pointing straight in from the side seam. Sometimes you want it cleverly hidden in a neckline or a shoulder seam. When you need to relocate a dart without changing the pattern's overall size or fit, you have two options. The pivot method involves anchoring a pin right at the bust point and literally swinging the paper around. Or you can use the more physical slash and spread method where you literally cut the paper to close the old dart and force a new one to open up elsewhere. The crazy part? The resulting fit is exactly the same.
That brings us to Section 5, Fullness and Body Contouring.
Think of added fullness through a really simple analogy. It's exactly like the folds of an accordion, or how curtains gather together on a rod. You are deliberately inserting extra material into a flat space. We apply this principle when your design needs to billow, flare, or expand. Think of a flowy peasant blouse or a wide bell skirt. Those styles require far more volume than what basic dart manipulation can ever provide.
To actually add this fullness, we literally use that slash and spread technique again. The pattern maker draws lines, cuts the paper into strips with scissors, and physically spreads them apart. By expanding the pattern's outline this way, you create a larger template. That shows the manufacturer that much more physical fabric is required to achieve the intended volume.
Conversely, our third principle is contouring. So if fullness is all about adding volume, contouring is about eliminating gaping ease. Think about a plunging neckline or a really deep armhole cutout. Without contouring, the fabric would just sag ungracefully. By fitting the pattern tightly to the hollows of the model's figure, like above, below, or between the bust, we absorb that loose fabric into the style lines, ensuring the garment sits perfectly flush against the skin. Finally, Section 6, Modernizing with CAD Systems.
Now, while manual drafting on a hard paper with your L-squares and French curves remains the absolute foundational skill every student must learn, computer-aided design, or CAD systems, are totally revolutionizing the pattern room. They dramatically decrease the rate of defects, ensure absolute mathematical perfection, and exponentially speed up the entire development and grading process.
The workflow here is incredibly sleek. Using a sensitized table, a pattern maker digitizes a manually drafted basic block pattern right into the system using a specialized mouse. Once it's on the screen, these incredible geometry drivers take over. A pattern maker can make an infinite number of changes to shapes and sizes. They can execute dart manipulations, instantly add pleats for fullness, and generate perfect seam allowances for a production pattern with literally just a few clicks.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. We've seen how absolutely incredible the precision and speed of digital flat pattern manipulation can be. But despite all those perfect geometry drivers and highly efficient CAD systems, will technology ever truly be able to replicate the pure, spontaneous, sculptural creativity of a designer draping and pinning raw fabric by hand on a dress form? Keep that in mind as you start practicing your own drafting. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy pattern making!